Hello everyone. Today we are going to be doing two different things. We have two different videos. Both of them are going to involve solving quadratic equations. This first video is solving quadratic equations by graphing. So make sure you have your graphing calculator. Pause now if you don't and go get your graphing calculator and we'll get started. Some academic language off the top of my head is the window or the domain and range on the calculator. Parabola, which is the shape that the graph is going to make. And look at the graph that we're going to be graphing. This is kind of cool, you guys. 5 times x plus 2 squared minus 10 equals 47. Now, let's say that you're not looking at the 47 right now, okay? Let's say that we're just looking at this side. Well, look, this is just a transformation of a parabola, right? You have your parabola, your parent function, which is just exactly like this. And then what are we doing? We're moving it to the left 2, and we'll see when we graph it because we're adding 2, right? We are stretching it vertically by 5, and then we're moving it down by 10. So you're going to have that parabola, but then also you're going to have a line on the other side, which is 47, okay? But I wanted to make sure you were making the connection between the transformations that we were doing. I'm going to add that to the academic language. And graphing these equations, okay? So let's get started. Make sure your calculator is clear. Step 1 is we're going to enter the left side of the equation into y1. Okay, do you remember how to get there? Go to your calculator. You hit the y equals. Do you see where my arrow is? So I'm going to click on y equals. And I've already done it. Oh, it looks like I have a different equation in there. So let's see. This is 5 times x plus 2. Oops. 2 squared plus 10 equals, okay? So that's just the left side of the equal sign. And then also step 1 is we're going to enter the right side into, and you guys have probably already figured this out, y2. Okay, so let's go over, and it's 47. Okay, so step 2, is zoom 6 to get to the graph, right? But we're going to maybe add something onto that step 2 because take a look. If I do zoom 6, I'm not seeing anything, right? So that's just our starting window. Our domain is from -10 to +10, and our range is from -10 to +10. But it looks like especially that 47 means, this means I have to go up to at least 47 on the y. Okay, so let's go up to +50 on the y. And my x should be fine. So let's take a look. So go hit window, and here's our domain and range. And our x is -10 to 10. And our y, let's just take our y. We want our maximum y to go up to, let's say 75. And then let's count by 2, the scale by 2, just for kicks. And then go back to graph and see what it looks like. There's our parabola. There's a line. So that's the perfect graph we're looking for. We can see the entire parabola. where it hits this line twice. So that's just the second thing I'm going to add. So zoom 6, but then adjust window, which is the domain and range, to fit graph. So you want to make sure you can see both sides of the parabola. Let's put that over here. Make sure you see entire parabola. Okay, make sure you see the entire parabola in the window. So the solutions we're looking for, what the solution means is where does, and look at my mouse, I moved it over here to the graph, where this line, 47, y equals 47 is this straight line here, where it hits this parabola twice, okay, those are going to be the solutions. So this particular one is going to have two solutions. It looks like they got the same thing out of the vending machine here earlier in the day and then here later in the day. So it's still a function, but you are going to have two of the same y values for two different x values. Now, interestingly, with the parabola, and I want you guys to put this over on the side here, and I'm not going to write it down, but I want you to write it down where I just did, so I can check your notes and make sure you're paying attention. You can have two answers, okay? So I want you to write down you can have two answers, or you could just have one answer. So I'm going to change this so you can see what one answer would look like, and that's going to be, I think, where y equals 10 maybe. Let's see what that looks like. If we did y equals 10, okay, that's what it looks like if there's just one answer, because see, just the very tip top of the parabola hits it just one time at the tip, at the minimum there, okay, or you could have 0 answers, and then let's just take this down to 5, and I'll show you what that looks like. You could have 0 answers. So what you should have written down is you could have 2 answers, like this one up here. You could have just 1 answer, or you could have 0 answers if those 2 lines don't cross. All right? So I'm going to go back to where I put it in. I'm going to take out those other ones, and I want to see that written down over there. Okay? But here's a really good graph that we came up with, and we can see. So step 3 is going to be hit trace and arrow over to where the lines cross. Trace and arrow over to where the lines, and let's use our academic language, we'll put intersect. Sorry for the misspelling. And let's put intersection up here under academic language. Okay, the solution is where they intersect. And why don't you go ahead and write that down over here below what we just did, okay? The solution is where they intersect, okay? And make sure you write where they intersect. And then, so we're going to arrow over, then estimate, since we're looking when we're solving, we're trying to solve this for x, right? So we want to, step 4, estimate x, and let's say that's 2, to the nearest 100. Okay, so 2 2 decimal points. So go back over to the calculator. Trace is right here. Hit trace, and I'm going to arrow over first one way to the right. Do you see my little spider there? And I'm going to estimate, I know y should be 47, right? And I want to estimate my x. You know what? This is going to be easier if I use the table where y is 47. So let's go, and x is going to be close to 1 maybe. Let's do second table. Okay, and then actually over here on step 3, or go to table. Okay. Cool. And then we want where y is 47, but it looks like on this first line it goes from 30 to 55, so I think we were right to use the graph. I'm going to go back to the graph. I'm going to trace, but since I'm not, I'm only getting, look where it has y is 44, but then the next time I trace up, it goes to y is 50. Since I'm not getting really close to 47, I may try to zoom in here. And you have to hit enter a couple times there. And then go back to trace. Okay, there's y equals 47, oops, 0.6, and I'm going to take it. So I'm going to say that x is close to 0.75, 0.74. Okay, so here, one answer is x is equal to, and then write down 0.74. And let's zoom out and see if we can get to the other side. Okay, there's my parabola. There's a x equals 47. And this time I'm going to trace, go in the other direction, down the parabola, back up the parabola. Okay, there's x is 48, so it's above, or y was 48. Now y is 55, y is 43. So 48 is pretty close, but I am, oops, didn't mean to trace there. I am going to zoom in once to see if I can get a little bit closer, and you'll get a better answer the more you zoom in. Now remember, you can always do second calc and find the intersection if you remember how to do that. And I think we had that in your notes somewhere. There, okay, there we go. So we're going to say about negative 4.73. So x1 and x2 equals, and I need you to put down negative 4.73 so I can check and make sure that you got the correct answers. If you want to, just remember, you could do second calc, find intersection, and you can call me over if you want help remembering how to do this, okay? So we have our answers, we have our steps, and let me see. I am going to just put one more practice question here. I want you to graph and find and call me over when you have the correct answer, okay? And that one is, let's see, oh, these all look a lot easier. So good for you guys. Let's do a negative one. Negative x squared plus x plus 4 equals 7. And look, that negative means the parabola is going to be upside down, right? Because it's flipping it over the, reflecting it over the x-axis. So call me over when you're done with that, and I will check your work.